Hey y'all, so this is the other word, and this word came to me through some numbers, but also this is very odd. I was seeing roadkill back to back to back to back, like, and a lot of it, all week last week or maybe the week before. And I was like, because when God's trying to show me something, it's typically like excessive like that. But I was like, roadkill, like that's really weird. Like there was one day that it was like 3. Like I saw one, boom, saw another one right after, and then saw another one. I was like, what in the world is happening? And I researched roadkill. My friend was like, well, have you looked it up? I'm like, you know what? No, I haven't. That's a good idea. So biblically, roadkill is often interpreted as a metaphor for something that has been discarded or deemed worthless by God. A life that is not aligned with God's will and therefore considered spiritually dead or insignificant. And it was like these things were back to back to back to back. And so with that being said, it's almost like a killing of things that are no longer serve purpose, that are spiritually dead, just killing off one after the other, right? And so I had gotten Ephesians 6:11, put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. I had gotten 3180, that means in the Strong's wiles. And I guess that brought me to Ephesians 6:11. I had gotten 601, which in the Strong's means to reveal, to uncover something previously hidden. And then I had also gotten 717, to uncover, to expose. So obviously, and then going back to even like the roadkill, right? When an animal is hit, their insides are exposed. So it was just like and Ephesians 5:11, have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. So it's like a lot of exposure, right? And then I had gotten destruction, no longer useful, and then no spiritual worth. That goes along with the roadkill. Matthew 19 verse 6. Let's see. Reads, so the two are not two, but one. God joined two people together. No person should separate them. What God brings together, let no man separate. I had gotten 2201, a pair, a yoke. I had also gotten 2043 in the Strongs, to support, ensuring it's firmly fixed or established. Also, Mark 10:9. Let me see. Mark 10:9. God has joined two people together, so no one should separate them. Again. And then I had also gotten 2201, again, a pair, a yoke. So what God is saying with this is, I also had heard, ask God to open our eyes, and put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So just like the previous word that I posted right before this one, the enemy has been trying to attack, for me, mentally, sending mental attacks, right, to kind of stir up discord and chaos and disruption and try to get me to backslide. And so God is saying, put on the whole armor of God so that you may be able to stand against that, right? To stand against the enemy and his tactics. And let's see, Ephesians 6:11, it talks about the armor of God. $12.99. So $6.11. So, finally, be strong in the Lord and in his great power. Wear the full armor of God. Wear God's armor so that you can fight against the devil's evil tricks. So, like I said, he's been bringing up a lot, like things have been brought up of the past, right? Things that used to trigger me, that my spouse, just certain things, right? And I've been getting triggered, and I have been allowing it. It's worked. Okay. We'll just put it that way. I've been going through it this week. Okay. I just let it happen. All right. God is saying, don't do that. It says, our fight is not against people on the earth. Remember, in this journey, like, our fight is not against our spouse, right? It's, we are fighting against the rulers and authorities and the power of this world's darkness. We fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and, right? So we have to remember that we are not against our spouse. Our spouse is not against us. Sometimes the enemy, if you allow him, can come in and cause discord and disruption and all of the things. And so we have to, like, be vigilant and remember this, right? That is why you need to get God's full armor. Then on the day of evil, you will be able to stand strong. And when you have finished the whole fight, you will still be standing. You already have the victory, right? It's already been done. But just like the previous word said, like, you have to be a willing person, right? You have to be willing to put in the labor and to put in the fight, right? It's just what comes along with following God and being a child of God. Like, you're never not going to have to fight. It's just the reality of it. Like, your days here on this earth, as long as you are here, you're going to have to fight. I mean, at some point and sometimes you will have peace. You will, God will fight for you, right? But in the sense of fighting, like, we have to be vigilant. We have to know what is the enemy and what is not. We have to know how to deal with things in the right way. We have to know how to view things the right way, like the right mindset, the right perspective, the right heart posture, all of the things. It says, so stand strong with the belt of truth tied around your waist. Truth. What does God say? If you are seeing things or experiencing things or thinking things or feeling things that are not what God said, go back to what God said. If it's not aligning with, if your feelings, if your emotions are not aligning with what God said, it's time to get back on track and back aligned with what God said. Truth, right? Because the enemy can manipulate your perspective and what you see and how you see it if you allow him to, right? And that's not truth. The devil is a liar, right? And so he will speak lies in your ear. He will put lies in your mind if you allow it. Go back to truth. What did God say? Align yourself with truth. And your chest wear the protection of right living. Sometimes, because we get impatient or we start feeling some type of way, getting in our feelings, we want to start sometimes, like, at least, you get in that mood where you're like, well, da-da-da-da-da, and it's not in any way how God would want you to behave, how he would want you to act, how he would want you to handle things, like, right way of living. And on your feet, wear the good news of peace to help you stand strong. Keep your peace. Guard and protect your heart. Keep your peace. Don't allow anything, the enemy, to come in and steal your peace, right? If you just tell the enemy no, right? Resist the enemy and he flees. And also use the shield of faith. Again, like, if the enemy is coming in and putting little lines in your ear and in your head, making you it can make you start to lack faith and become hope deferred. And then your faith, because you might, the enemy might come in and start saying, hey, look at all these people. They're getting married. They're getting this, they're getting that. And look at you still sitting there waiting, and then could get in your mind. And then you're sitting there like, you know what? Like, yeah, why are they taking so long? And, I deserve this, and da 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 da. And then there goes your faith. Straight down the drain, right? You start, because the thing is, it's not our timing, it's God's timing. And I know that sucks to hear, and it's sometimes we get impatient. But really, like, slow and steady wins the race, and you'll get there, right? So keep the faith. If God says something, God said what he said, it's going to happen. Just know that. Keep your faith. Don't allow the enemy to come in and take that, right? With that, you can stop all the burning arrows of the evil one, right? That's how you stop it. Like, it's that, no, you just know. Certain thoughts come in your head. No. Is it what God said? No. Goodbye. Certain things you start hearing, don't allow your eyes to wander on stuff that may cause you to become hope deferred. The enemy will use all of that stuff, right? So, and take the sword of the Spirit. That sword is the teaching of God. Just like in my previous word, does it align with God? Do your actions, do your thoughts, all of it, does it align with God and his teaching and what God would want to know? Then realign yourself, right? And he's saying you're going to be crowned, right? You're going to hold, you're going to possess what he has told you. But you have to put on the full armor of God and have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness. Nothing to do with it. But rather expose it. Expose those things, right? the roadkill. There is, there has been a destruction of back to back things, right? That are no longer useful, that have no spiritual worth, right? He's gotten rid of those things. So many of them. So don't have nothing to do with those things, right? The fruitless deeds of darkness have nothing to do with it. Don't allow the enemy to come in. Ask God to open your eyes. So if you're thinking one thing, right? And you're in your feelings, just ask God to open your eyes to the truth, right? What does God say about it? And he will show you, right? He will reveal to you. He will uncover those things to you. And know, that you are on a firm foundation, secured. You and your spouse are paired together, right? Yoked together. And Genesis 2:22 I had also gotten, and the rib which the Lord had taken from the man he made into a woman and brought her to the man. Like, y'all are inseparable, right? And if God said that's your person, then that's your person. And don't allow the enemy to come in and try to manipulate you, to take you away from that, to deter you away from that in any way. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness. Don't allow him to come in and start putting thoughts in your mind, causing you to be prideful, right? Like, in any way. Just expose them and resist the enemy, put on the full armor of God and fight, right? That's the word. I pray that it makes sense. I pray that it gets to who it needs to get to. This word and the previous word that I am posting, they go hand in hand. So if you've not seen that one, then I would recommend watching it. I don't know what I'm titling either one of these words yet. Once I upload them, I guess I will, at that point, have the titles. But I do pray it gets to who it needs to get to. I pray it made sense. If y'all feel led to sow, my information will be in the description. I pray over every seed that is sown. And I just pray that y'all have a blessed rest of your evening. And I will see you on my next video, whenever that may be. Okay, bye.